Good evening, everybody that's watching this video today, depending on your location. Good day. My name is Priska, and I'm taking you guys on registration, on how to make registration using core PHP. So let's proceed. As you can see right here on my system, I already designed my form input with Bootstrap. So let me take you to the code where I did this. Oh, sorry. This is already written code, but do not mind. You're writing it from the fresh. Don't mind this, okay? So, okay, so this is what I did. As you can see here, I have three files. First one is DB, login, and register. So this DB is a short form of database. Here I wrote my connection to the MySQL database, and this is how it works. You use MySQL underscore connect to connect to your database in phpMyAdmin. If you already have XAMPP installed, you should have your phpMyAdmin running, and the way to access it is going to your browser, type in localhost slash phpMyAdmin. You'll be able to access your database, and then create a database there. This is what I'm saying here, so you don't get confused. So here, phpMyAdmin. Then you create a database here called beginner, just like I did. And then I have a table. In the database called beginner, I have a table that I created called users, where I'll be storing the users' details. Very simple. So you come back here and then write the connection. Normally is localhost, then the username is root. The password, if you do not tamper with it, is by default empty, and then the database name, which is beginner. And this one that I commented out here, as you can see here, is just me testing, saying that okay, go and check if it is actually connected, show me connected. If not, that is S, show me echo F. So I believe that before you get to this point of watching registration on core PHP, you must have known what if condition is, because it's one of the most basic things you need to know in PHP. If is used to check a condition, if a condition is actually meant. So this is basically it, and I hope you understand. If you have question, please drop it on the comment box. I will surely reply you. And then I have the login here. I've not written anything. This will be writing our login. After registering a user into our database, we have to let them log in with the details they registered with. And here in the registration table, you just get in your, I believe you already know the basics of HTML, which is HTML documents. We have HTML. Once you type doc, it will show you a list of this, like meta, the title, head, and then this HTML title. As you can see, I just used card width, margin button. This is what I'm talking of here, and then the card body. The reason these card bodies are working and card here is working and my this is probably designed is because I installed Bootstrap. As you can see here, there is Bootstrap, which inside you have CSS and JS, and I linked my Bootstrap CSS here. You can see it here on line 35. So this is where I linked it. Very okay. So if I don't not link this thing, let me show you for example. Let me say I comment it out. Come back to my code. This is how it looks. Very dirty. Very, very dirty and ugly. So coming back, then uncomment it. Remember that a comment is a line of code that is not being read by the code, sorry, by the machine or anything you can call it. So just know that it will not run, it is not being read. So that is just basically it. I've done my HTML input. I'm accepting name, email, password, and confirm password. Then there is a button here called register where they can click to register. All of them here are required. This is the functions of this required. I assume you know that. This is it. So basically, we're moving for today's the reason why we are here today is to work on the functionalities. As we have already designed our form input, we should be able to register our users. So firstly, you have to in every form, in every file you have that you are going to be interacting with the database, you are expected to require or include db.php, which is a short form of database. Do not forget to put in your semicolon. So after that, you proceed to writing your function, your code. So how to write this is, if I set, this is if I set $_post, then let me show you something. I have a button called register. This is the name I gave it, register, and it's register. So when you come here, if you fill in all these details, where will you click on for me to store in your database? Here, which is register. So now if I want to write this code, I have to come here and take the PHP code and say, oh, I will not take the code and say, please come here and check in my form input, among those form input, if there is a method that has, if I have a method called post, this is it here on line 46. If I have a method called post, then, sorry, then there is $_post. And then go inside that method called post, look for a file name. If what I clicked on, look for it and say, okay, and see if you can find a file name, either input, anything that has a name, register. And then if you can find it, that means if actually I set a method called post, and not only that, I have a button name called register, then I'm good to go. The code will run and then proceed to the next step. And what is the next step? Us getting the inputs. The input. So how do we go about it? First of all, the input, before you can access them, you have to use $_post. As you can see here, this way, let's say we have an input called this one here. On line 50, there's an input name. The full name there, what you gave it is a name. So the other one is email name. And so if we were to access it this way, it's going to be so difficult for us to insert it into the database, because it will be long. It will make our code so long. So the easiest way to do it is this. First of all, assign them all to a variable. Make sure to follow the naming convention. Name, $_. You know what a variable is? By now, I assume you know that, because a variable is is just like a handbag holding in what you have for you. Now, when you want to access that thing, just call the name of that variable. You'll be able to access your handbag. Let's say your handbag, you put your phone. When you want to get your phone, you carry your handbag, because your phone is inside your handbag. Hope you understand that. So the input name must be correct, else you get an error. The input name there now is name. So if I now want to insert this name into the database, I don't need to come and stress myself and start calling $_post. I will just call this name. I hope you get me. So we have another one, email. That's another input we are accepting. And the name there is also, if I'm not mistaken, is also email. Okay, so you will see that I'm getting a lot of computers intelligence. So to get it and to make it work on a system, so it will be more easier for you to write your code. You have to install what you're seeing down here. Tab 9, go down, tab 9 starter. Just go to this extension here, and then when you go to the extension, type tab 9, TABNINE. You can see the extension, then you can install it. So now we have what we call password. So we have the password. Okay, oh sorry. And we have we are not only accepting password, we are accepting confirm password too. So we have confirm password too. So what should we call it now? Okay, that is it. So you see that these names inside here must tally with the name you gave your input. If not, you get an error. So the variable here, you can give them any name. It's just a variable that you're creating. You can give them what? Any name. It is understandable. So now that we have gotten these things, normally you can just go in and insert it into database, but that's not what you want. You want to make sure that the user that want to register, we register with, like a user that want to register, we register with one email. You cannot come and register twice with the same email. It's not allowed. And we want to make sure that the confirm password you put for us is the same thing with the normal password you put, because it helps users. I might type nonsense in my first password, and then coming to the second I get distracted and type another thing, and then I just do login. You will log me in without confirming, and then later on when I come back to login, I will now forget my password. So this is a better way of helping users as well. So the first thing we have to do right now, the first thing to do is to check the duplicate of the mail to make sure that the mail is not twice, is not two. So let's call it, as I told you, follow naming convention. So since we are checking duplicate, email duplicate, so we are expected to use a variable called duplicate as well. So how do we do this now? We want to query the database. So it should be mysqli underscore query. So firstly, you have to, if you want to query the database, use mysqli underscore query, and also the connection. You have connected your database in this DB. I have required it in this file here, as you can see. So now you have to call on this variable here. It's con, but the full name is connection. So if you want to access this, you are always going to be needing this. So we just assign it to a variable. So we will not just come to the code and be writing all this long thing. So we can just call on this variable con. You must not miss it. Once you miss it, you get an error. You must not miss it. Don't forget to add it. It will give you an error. So once we have call our database, we are done. The next thing now is to go into the database and go and select everything there and check if the mail there is equal to the mail that they have given us. That means it has already existed. So what is the next thing to do? Select everything from our table name is users. I don't know why you gave your table name. Go into the database, select everything from users table where email is equals to $email, which is the name of the variable we gave on line 27, as you can see there. Make sure it will give an error that you don't even know how to solve. Make sure that this $email is in a single quote. The moment it's not in a single quote, it will give you an error that you don't even know how to solve it. That is the truth. So when that is done, you come back here. What is the next thing? We have already checked it. So you have to check and calculate it. MySQL numbers, you can use it to calculate it. So if my SQLi, am I missing something? My SQLi num, yes, numbers. Numbers is just like calculating the number of rows. So duplicate. They are saying already know that if condition is used to check if a condition is met. So now if you go into this duplicate is going into the database and getting us all the email that is in the database that equals the mail that they are giving us, so that we now calculate using MySQL and numbers. In copy you should use MySQL numbers to calculate, just like count. So you now say if you calculate the rows of these things, this duplicate, the rows of how many emails you see there, if you calculate the rows and it is greater than 0, that means true the email is there and it has already existed, and the user cannot register with the same email two times. It's not possible. So they are expected to return us with echo. Remember that echo is used to display details or a text in the browser. So you now say sorry, this email already exists. And now we have checked the duplicate. What is the next thing to check? We have to check and confirm that the password you put first is equals to what you put inside the confirm password, so you will not make mistake. So now I'm not going to the else if. Just this else if just like a switch statement. You know when you want to have so many if statements, So if you're going through the else if blah blah blah, you can just use switch statement. But in this case, since it's not too long, though if it's up to 3 or 4, I can still use else if, but you can use switch condition. But since it's not too long, we'll be using else if, because this we're just giving two conditions here. So after checking the mail, you should also check for us the password. And the password here, we are now saying else if password is equals to this confirm password here. So they must be the same thing, meaning that yes, you know what to give us. And what you gave us before, you are using your senses when you gave it to us, you understand? So you are not mistaken, you are not carried away, and things like that. Get it? So now when we check and see that the two password is equal, what is the next thing? We have nothing else to check except to have another thing to check. You just have to do what? Inserting the user's details. So how do we do that? Give it a name called insert. So to my SQLi underscore query. Don't forget to call your connection variable insert into users table. So the name of our columns in the database here is full name, email and password. Full name, email and password. After that, you add the values. Oh, it has already added it for me, but not everything. So make sure you arrange it the way it is here. And this is it. So you now write another condition. So if insert, if truly it worked, it was able to insert into the database. So we expect you to give us a message. Echo out registration successful. And S echo enable to register. So in the checking of the password, we also have to give an else condition. Yes, that means the password did not work. Echo password does not match. Please try again. Okay, with this, I guess you should be correct and everything should be working, but we have to test it. We never can tell. So let's go back to our browser and okay. So this is it. Let's refresh so it can reflect. Okay. So here you can put in a name called John. We can say john@gmail.com. You can give in a password of John and a password of John. And let's try to register this user. Unable to register. I must have made mistake. We have to go back and cross check. So insert into users. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to solve the error. Okay, this password. Okay, I think I got it now. If you try to refresh and submit the form again, okay, gmail.com. Okay, we pray it works. Password does not match. So that means it's working now, I guess. So what did we use again? Um, let's use it as password. As you can see there, because I made mistake in the second password, it does not match. So I'm still getting unable to register. So give me a minute to solve this error. Okay, I think I figured out the error. Okay, this is where the error is coming from here. I didn't close this bracket. Okay, I think this should work now. Let's use the same password. Registration successful. So you see that a little bracket I didn't add gave us an error. So let's check. Okay, we are refreshing here our PHP admin to see if, oh yeah, the details is recorded and the password. Now there's something we did not add. Our password has to be hashed. But let's first of all check um the necessary things. So now that we are able to register, let's try to register with the same email. Let's check our authentications and everything and use another the same password. Expected to get an error. Sorry, this mail exists. So let's try the password. Okay, let's say we are using a different mail. Okay, password does not matter. Everything we did worked for us, but I need us to hash this password here. It is very necessary for every developer to know. So there is something we did not do here. Hash. Okay, here in core PHP we should be making use of MD5. It's in Laravel that you can make use of hash. So it's working now. Let's try to register another user with a different mail. Michael. Michael. Okay. Password does not match. I think I made a mistake. Okay. Michael. Wow. Why is my password not matching? Okay. 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 Yeah, I made a mistake. So it will never work. Here, I hashed this and I should also hash this. Because here I'm just comparing a normal password that is not hash with a password that is hash here. So I have to make sure they are both hash. That is where the error is coming from. So you don't make the same mistake. Try to learn from my mistake. Don't make the same mistake. Okay. Registration successful. Now let me show you what I mean by hashing a password. Okay, so you can see this password there, you're seeing it, but this one is hashed. So this way, we have been able to make a registration, make sure that you don't register with the same two email, and sorry, don't register two times with one email, and make sure that the password you put, we confirmed it. So I think we have done registration successfully. Please kindly watch our next video. Do not forget to subscribe. Our next video is working on the login using core PHP. So please try to subscribe on our channel so that you can get a notification once we drop the login video. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time and I hope you learned something today.